Hello, I'm here to read chapter 3 of Angelina at the Serrano. So, let's get started. Yes. Chapter 3, Police. Morning. On his boyfriend's orders, Micah and I shuffled down the street, into a Starbucks. The down light was as gray as a mugshot. Brown panel hotel art. Canned jazz framed the corner storefront. Micah turned to me. Lena, you know I don't have any. Micah never had any money. He was on disability. I had an entry-level office job. It's okay. It's on Project Concern. They give you a $20 Starbucks card for administrative professional stay. I can only drink so much coffee. I need to talk to you. I'm so fucking scared. My God, He put a hand on my arm. It's okay, Lena. Me a chai latte, decaf, okay? Are you? Okay. He ordered for us. I paid. Before our drinks arrived, he led me to an overstuffed chair in burgundy velvet. I sat. He sat across from me. You have to file a police report. You know that, right? The police? My God, no. Lena, get a hold of yourself. They're not gonna hurt you. This time you have not committed any crimes. They don't know about any of that old stuff. To them you are Lena Cosentino, nonprofit secretary, author, upright member of society. But I knew there were old grains of cocaine and disco purses tucked in drawers for the party that would never come again. I would sit and dig with my finger to lick the dust, get ever so slightly high again. I stored so many reckless, tiny bags in that red croc skin clutch that the fabric was saturated. If the police entered my bedroom, if they brought dogs, how could the police not know I used to be a drug addict? This would be the end. I can't. You have to file a police report, Micah said. There might still be people inside your apartment right now, waiting for you to come back. They might kidnap you or worse. Lena, I worry for your safety. Please, call your parents tonight. Tell them about this. But first, before you go back into your house, make sure you send the police in there to make sure it's safe. That means I would have to call them right now. I have to go to work today. I think I'm gonna call in sick today and go see my psychiatrist. I need something much stronger for this anxiety. Does your work know you're bipolar? Ha. No, they don't even know I have tattoos. Mental illness is instant firing. Sure, there's the Americans with Disabilities Act, but nobody enforces it. No one believes me. I've lost so many jobs after being institutionalized, or bidding that I had to take a sick day to see my psychiatrist. There's no winning. Either way, I just have to lie and lie. Hope I can keep this job till I can go away to school, or I can at least be more honest about my condition. They can't throw you out of grad school for being crazy. If you're medicated and manageable, I don't think. Lena? Micah? The girl at the counter said, pushing across two steaming cups with green straws. Oh, hallelujah. Micah picked them both up, brought me my drink. He sipped his daintily. So, listen, call them from here. We can start walking back. I'll stay with you. At the corner of 24th and B Street, I watched the police car slow to a stop. 4 officers got out. 4. No dogs. I clenched Micah's hand. He squeezed it, let it go. The palm trees and hibiscus hedges were gray-green. The overcast sun drifted towards 8 a.m. I put 1 foot forwards, then back. One of the officers checked his notebook and advanced towards me. Are you Lena Cosentino? He barked. Yes. Well, are you? Yes, I am. Is this your boyfriend? No, he has a boyfriend. No. The man peered at me under the black cap. Okay. So you live here at 2437 B Street, apartment 3? Yes. Yes, I do. Now, could you tell us what happened last night? I launched into a retelling of the previous night's events. Saw the cop's eyes narrowing into the black brim of his cap. I whined, babbling faster. Shrill. Female. Finally, he said, "All right, that's about as much as we need to hear. Listen, we're going to go in there, check it out, see if there's anyone in there, see what's missing. Make sure it's safe for you, all right?" "Thank you, officer." He half smiled for a moment. I stared bleakly at the leering, open gate to the lanai. There were thick, dark footprints in the mud, bigger prints than my feet or Micah's. I began to shake. I didn't stop shaking until the first policeman had entered that half-open porch gate. The racing thoughts only accelerated when they came out, guts at the ready. Reported that my TV, iPod, blender, and speakers were missing. There was also the matter of the flour and the sugar strewn all over the carpet. Later that day, the security guard at the Douglas Young Community Mental Health Clinic ran his metal detector up and down my body. "Now open your bag, doll," he said. They always searched my bag before I went into the clinic. I looked up at the Narcotics Anonymous flyers, Men's Drum Circle, Bipolar Anorexic Anonymous. All the flyers, yellow with rainbow arced writing from Pritchard to Homa, 48 Point. I opened my bag, pulled out notebooks, that old Franklin Covey planner, stuffed some queer bondage porn back into the ripped lining of my tote bag. My psychiatrist worked in a public low-income city clinic in Mira Mesa, a beauty school across the courtyard. Only pigeons. I was here at the county clinic, this time to ask for a sedative, a mother's little helper, in addition to my usual psychological pharmaceutical cocktail. This break-in really stepped up my anxiety. A couple sat across from me from the waiting room, reading Esquire and Jane. The walls were regularly hung with flyers for group homes, a biosocial support group for schizophrenics that was canceled until further notice. Flyers for warm lines, multilingual crisis lines, and more. A man with a shaved head and broad shoulders wedged into a flight jacket argued with Dr. Montoya as to whether or not he had to see her. "It's all a mistake," the man said. He pawed through a pile of magazines. "All this shit I don't need," he said. The woman in the chair shied away, exhausted. A pair of gothic teenagers bled one ringtone into another. The boy in a Joy Division shirt, the girl in a purple plaid pants. I smirked into my Esquire. The bedazzled flip-flop swatted at me. I cringed. Word finders and Sudoku on the floor. The blithe woman in reception looked up from her day planner. She pulled back the sliding glass window, separating her from the insane, bulletproof plexiglass. With a timid hand, she leaned out. "Are we happy, people?" said the receptionist. "Is everybody happy?" I put down the article on "Would you sell your wallet, your puppy, or your wedding ring for $1,000? I would, but I only had 1 out of 3. I followed Dr. Montoya down the hall. Sedatives. Bingo. Okay, to be continued. Part 2 coming up. Okay, this is part 2 of chapter 3 of Angelina the Serrano. I felt the warm click of the needle fall to the record before I heard the rush of sound, the rising dulcet tones above the Valley of the Dolls soundtrack. Patty Duke as Neely O'Hara came on. She sang, "Try, my friend, to face yourself with all you have in store." I turned to Micah on the couch. He sipped the $2 chuck that I had bought. "Brace yourself and give a little more." Micah looked up at me with thick eyebrows threaded with white. "How was your shrink?" "Don't remind me. I did get some pills, though." "Are they any good?" Neely O'Hara sang, "And strike a brand new pose." "I haven't tried. Do you want one?" "Sure, darling." He smiled. From Neely, "With blues you can't ignore." I hopped gleefully into my room, got the pill bottle from my bedside table, pressed the white plastic lid. I twisted it, passed Micah an Ativan. Their prescription. It's supposed to be a nice heavy sedative. Controlled substance, they said. Oh, really? Fantastic. Oh, yes. He took his, leaned back along the sofa, watched the fish twine and loop their way among the plastic seaweed. So did the dastardly robber take anything? Yeah. A bunch of my stuff was missing. I'm really pissed. He took my iPod, the little TV I had, the coin jar on the mantle of my laundry quarters, and get this, my blender. How odd. Yeah, and he trashed the place too, as if that wasn't enough. I mean, he emptied the sugar and flour canisters into that shitty living room carpet. I mean, as you could see, I tried to vacuum, but there's a deposit I may never see again. My roommate was pissed when he got back. Then he said he wasn't even sure I hadn't imagined the whole thing. Sure, that old inspired heart ain't all it was before, Neely sang. But, my friend, that tired heart must try its best to soar. I looked down at my hands, sat next to him, slipped the pill into my mouth, swallowed brusquely, waterless. I hoped that this would give me the calmness that I desperately wanted. My unquiet heart. The trauma stacked like tinder. A fire started. I would possibly burn to ashes, to ruin. Our heads reflected in the dark window. Light, shadow. The pearl dome of the clock's glass globe against the dark palms outside. Hours later, we navigated the aisle to 25th Street in Jiroko's discount market, along a silver twine of water, ran down the central ditch, marked with leaves and silt, reflecting red from the stoplights, punctuated with broken glass. We patted on either side. Bleary, Micah needed a cigarette. We heard bits of Mexican radio. Our maternal voice riding with the child's cries, pink stucco walls, and window bars on either side, a vine with red trumpet flowers twined along a chain link fence, blue plastic recycling bins along both sides, a profusion of flies. The air was thick and warm. The humidity wrapped us in a bubble of Ativan gold. At the brick house on the corner, we turned right. With a quick glance over at Micah's shuttered place, we aimed towards the bright door of the market. A hand-lettered sign claimed, "Wine Special, CK Mandavi, $3.99. Merlot Cab Chardonnay is Infidel." Another, "All milk, $1.25. The pink neon horseshoe of the turf club radiated 2 doors down. The blood heat of the stakes palpable. An indistinct crowd circulating in front. But not for us. We didn't have the money for steak. It just wasn't on the menu. I had money for wine, and wine only. Priorities. Micah and I stopped short, went into Jiroko's. A wall of liquor warred with smoked almonds, red guppies and urine sample cups. The fluorescent lighting washed us out to wraiths. We dredged through the aisles, in search for Riesling and some Camel Lights. Micah opened the cooler door, pulled out a blue bottle. "Does this one look okay?" he said. "How much is it?" "It's okay. I'll get it. My disability went through." "You're a doll. I don't get paid till next week." "What's your disability for, anyway, if you don't mind me asking?" "Depression. I'm HIV positive. Plus, I'm blind in one eye." "What? Micah, I'm so sorry." "Don't be ridiculous." He looked away, then looked back at me. His mouth softened. "Here." He opened his arms. I fell into them, held him, as if he might break. Their fluorescence caught us in a silvery glare, stuck off the cooler handles, over the Canada Dry, along the one-shot bottles of Sky Vodka, through the grating, along the window. A police car siren came squealing past us with the red flare. We sat on the patio on chairs, mingled with ferns and spider webs. The heady bloom of the bougainvillea bloomed beneath the bird bath. I poured us each a glass of wine, lit the candles. I felt warm and loopy. The Ativan took effect. 3 glasses in, I began to veer and fumble. My words traced circles around Micah's vague explanations. My eyelids drooped. "Honey," he said, "you need to go to bed. Call me tomorrow, okay?" I started, "But come on, not yet." Not now. Have another. We were only just starting to talk. Oh, well, okay. I poured. A car sped through the lonely street, its red tail lights reflected on the courtyard walls. Revving the motor. The flutter of the candle's shadow against the stucco walls. They were cast in outline, traced in ivy, bound with the shuddering drone of an airplane above. No, really, Micah said. I've got to go. Timothy will be worried. I wouldn't want to worry his pretty little head about anything. He'll be fine tomorrow. Get some rest. He picked up his sunglasses from where they were folded on the table, his thick fingers firm. No, stay. You're acting like an infant. Just put your little head on the pillow and rest. I mean it, darling. He narrowed his eyes at me. Fuck you, Micah. Go to bed. He turned, walked towards the gate. I'll call you tomorrow. I picked up the blue flutes, strode back into the kitchen. The empty weight of my apartment hung around me in humid waves. I was alone here in San Diego, unlike busy San Francisco. Apart from the dubious consolation of my office job, my neighbor Micah was my only friend. Now I knew he was dying. I poured my head glass after glass of wine, hoped he would talk to me in my isolation. I didn't even think that I was taking him away from his boyfriend, who he lived with, who supported him. I thought only of myself. All I could do was wait. I knew how to wait. I spent all my time waiting for the grad school letters, 7 of them, rejections so far, writing into the void of my hard drive, hope that someday I would finish this endless book. I had 300 pages of worn-out disco trash. Some of it became Jet Set Desolate. Part became Neon Hysteric. I worried that this was all there would ever be. I could spend some interminable amount of my future, stuck in San Diego, spinning my wheels, drinking vodka on the porch, rotting into amnesiac silence. I wiped a hand down the side of my face, looked at the colander handing over the sink, the murky bruise blotches on the basin, the moldy aquamarine tile, my single plate in the dollar store gift dish rack. I sighed, walked towards the cracked wood paneling of the hall. Okay, that's the end of chapter 3.